See 'em? Well, open your damn eyes in. It's the old-timey country down-home red state update podcast and them. Coming to you from a bunker underneath Jackie's Market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And here they are, both of them.
Hey, welcome to Red State Update. This here's Jackie Brawls.
Friends, countrymen, country people. I've tried to come up with something good to say at the beginning that includes everybody and is punchy.
You just quit trying. You did this last week, didn't you? It wasn't no good. One time you tried to start rapping or something. I don't know what the hell it was, but you tried to do something and it always doesn't work.
What if I did it like, hey, everybody, this is Dunlap, but what if I did it in a way that it was as if I were surprised, so that I sort of made it about my acting ability, so that like I come out on the porch and I'm piddling around with the flowers or something, or maybe I'm sweeping off some bird droppings, power washing, maybe the sidewalk, whatever. And then I see somebody out of the corner of my eye and I turn and it's all of you. And I go, oh, hey.
Wow.
Like I'm surprised. Did you get that? That I was surprised, but I was happy. It was like a pleasant surprise. Let me do it again. Hey.
You don't need to do the scared part before. Just put it all in the one word. Hey, don't say and then hey, because then that people don't know if there's somebody's there to kill you. And what, you need to know right away. Everything's all right. You can be surprised. Yes. But like you said, pleasantly, but when you get scared at first, nobody likes being scared. Maybe later afterwards, you think how silly it was or whatever. But in the moment, when you're scared, no, sir. No one
I hear you.
No one likes you.
I take your note. I didn't think that was scared. Is that what's coming across as scared?
Well, at first when you go, then you go, hey, and lets everybody know it's okay. But you don't need the scared part at the beginning. Just excited, happy, excited.
That's what I thought I was doing pleasure for the whole thing. Pleasure, and then like a pleasure up to thrilled acceptance of my new guests. Let me try one more time. Okay. I'm coming out the door. Do I need to do the sound effects, or will we put that in later?
I don't understand why you're doing that on the head. Is that for a movie, a TV show, commercial, something like, right? But that ain't for what we're doing now, because it don't make any sense.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm trying to give. You're absolutely right. I'm getting too bogged down in the details. When what I really want is just the effect of all this. So I'm just going to put all that in my mind and make sure that scared and pleasure, the right one reads, and I'm going to put it all into one word, like you said. Here we go. Hey, everybody. It's Dunlap. Welcome to the Red State Update. Oh, that's good too. I'll do it like I'm a DJ. Red State Update, or Max Headroom, maybe. Podcast, everybody. Oh, that's good. A Max Headroom thing. Forget the whole scare. Although, how was it? How did that read to you?
That one was good. Max Headroom was old computer head on TV, right? Years ago. Yeah. Drank Pepsi Cola or something. When they drank
one of them.
It sold something in a commercial. Yeah, they quit doing that after a while because nobody, didn't. Computers advanced so much that nobody cared about it anymore.
My memory of it is that they did it for years and years, maybe 20 years, and people just stopped paying attention to it.
It's a video game, wasn't it?
You could play it. You could just listen to it. I think it was the first podcast, and you could just watch it with the sound down, and it was all the same effect, just background.
Where are they now? Yeah.
We should try to get him on here as a guest.
Ain't real. It's a cartoon, ain't it? Well, it ain't real.
I mean, what is real?
Yeah, point there.
Is vision real?
Hell, I don't know. For all I know, you said that he could be head of QAnon and all that stuff. I don't know.
Oh, that would be funny if turned out QAnon was run by Max Headroom, because he's the one, he could hack into everything, and do a bunch of memes because he's a computer man. So he'd be like, "Here's a new meme, Pepe, frog."
Is that how he talked?
Kinda. I mean, go back and listen to it. Go back and listen to it. It's close.
I didn't like it at the time, really. I mean, you talk about listening to you or listening to that. I mean, I remember Computer Face all over the place because that was popular video games. Children like
that was his song, Computer Face all over the place.
Yep. That's the 80s for you right there, yeah.
Yeah.
And as awful as that was, I'd trade it right now for today.
Nostalgia is dangerous, Jackie.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Especially when it involves Max Headroom. QAnon. That's how he talked. Stuttering. Pizza.
Lots of different comedians. I know that's a computer comedian runner, but people did the stuttering thing for years and years. Like it was funny. You know, hell, Joe Biden, they were saying how funny it was. He stuttered, and he was like, no, it ain't. Because in real life, people, some people have, stutter, yeah.
Fox News has a list. They just, I don't know if they have it up on a wall or something, and you're supposed to take a look at it before you go down and stare into the cameras of things that are, it says things that are supposed to be funny. And then sometimes, depending on who on the other side said it was funny, they move it to things that are not funny. They got two big whiteboards, definitely whiteboards at Fox News, and you got to look at them before you go down there. And if you just run out of things to talk about, like Tucker Carlson, he'll be like, when did stuttering stop being funny, or however he talks? And because Joe Biden. But then if, I don't know, Ron DeSantis had a stutter, they'd say. But this is not, we're not going to make fun of people stutter. I was doing Max Headroom. That's a computer.
That's a computer, but he stuttered. But back in, I don't know if you'd be able to do him nowadays. Hell, I say that. He could be president right now nowadays. Who knows? Go ahead. What?
Black Mirror. Go ahead. You go ahead.
What is it?
You go ahead.
Black Mirror. I was going to say you jump right into Fox News, so we might as well just get it over with, get all this over with. We had, of course, some good news with the conviction, the verdict, come down on Chauvin. Murder, all three counts, everything. And I always think whatever the situation is, Fox News is going to find a way to turn it around, to use it to their benefit somehow, whatever. And, of course, one of the first people I saw talking about it was old Judge Perino, who said, yes, see, he deserved to be convicted, which anybody, if you got two damn eyes, could see, would agree with. Of course, it is Fox News we're talking about. But she said, yes, this is how it should have been. And I just figured they would run with that the same way they run, y'all saying there's no justice or nothing. And look, here's an example. We don't need the hat no more. We heard enough of it. Look, here you go. Here's your example. That one time should be enough. The one time a black man was elected president meant that there was no racism anymore. That one time. That's what I thought we was going to be hearing all week. But turns out that's not the case. Old Tucker Carlson on there saying, the reason that the people made that decision, because, of course, there was a lot of Republicans hoping there was going to be protest or what they like to call riots or whatever, something, glass breaks, something catch on fire. they can raise a little bit of money for the midterms coming up. They're really, everybody just gnawing at the bit for that. So, of course, they made the right decision in the court case. And there didn't happen to be no protest, right, whatever, celebration, yes, but nothing, So they didn't get that. So Tucker Carlson says that the reason the people came to that conclusion on that verdict didn't necessarily have anything to do with the facts that they displayed in the case. It had to do with the fact that they were terrified that there would be a riot. So a riot don't even have to happen, or protest don't even have to happen. As long as it's happening in somebody's mind, that's the real crime there. So,
right, I'm confused a little bit already because, according to Tucker Carlson, half of America's been on fire for the past 14 months.
Yeah. But now he's saying it don't have to be, because all you have to do is think about it.
Yeah.
It don't matter if it's on fire or not. In your head it is. That's what matters. And I'm here to remind you that everything is on damn fire all the time.
Yeah, you don't even have to lie about it anymore. It's just, it could possibly be, which is even worse than it actually being. The threat of it is worse than the actuality of it, even though they're both made up.
But all of it's made up, yeah.
I guess even that's easier. He's just saying, what's easiest for me? I could get on here and say, see, racism is dead. But I don't think our viewers want racism to be dead. They like racism. So this whole path that we're trying out about, what are y'all complaining about? Racism's dead. I like a Beyonce song. It's just easier for me to say they shouldn't put cops in jail. That's how much of this comes from them watching what are the worse than Fox networks, the OANN, how many N's?
I don't know.
There's a bunch of, and what's the other? There's another. There's like, how many of the worse than Fox networks are there? They watch those and go, we can't say that's not enough. We can't say racism's dead. What are they talking about on the left? That's not enough. They want us to say racism is alive and we're helping it.
Oh, that's what it does. He's already had the Jewish defamation where they come out and say something. Of course, he has a funny laugh he does now. I guess that's his new thing. He laughs at stuff when somebody says he's racist. So I guess he's laughing a lot. Now, it don't make any sense. The police shouldn't go to jail, and the only reason the policeman's in jail is because this jury, who by all accounts has black members of it, but this jury is so scared of black people, just like he was scared of George Floyd, had to throw him, he didn't know what's going to happen in any given moment. You just basically have to be scared of black people. That's it. I tell you what, I wish police were more scared of the verdict in this case than they are of unarmed black men in this country. But that obviously ain't the case, because in the midst of the conviction of this man who murdered another man, it's on video. If anybody's curious what they said in the trial or who said it, you can just watch. I mean, it's right there on it. 9 minutes of it, however you want to watch it. So, But since then, we've had a 13-year-old Adam Toledo, Ma'Khia Bryant, Dante Wright, and now Andrew Brown. Now, Andrew Brown's situation where they ain't going to put the video out. It seemed like they was real quick to put the video out in these other cases, which in some cases with Ma'Khia Bryant, yes, you could say she was armed with a knife, but it's still a situation where police show up and they kill black people. It's just yeah.
We need to be working backwards from don't shoot black people.
Yeah.
That's where we need to start from.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Now, how do we? But the problem is that American math wants the answer to be shoot black people. So we got to change we got to change math. People want two different answers. So maybe we got to change. Maybe we got to change the math. We got to change the people's brains.
Look at the percentages. That's math for you. How many black people are shot compared? How many black people in jail compared? Look at those numbers. That's math. It's all math. That's all math.
Give a lot of reasons. War on drugs, tail light out, whatever reason you come up with to stop black person, throw them in jail. Come up with some kind of good reason. They're passing new laws now, anti-protest. This is great because you shoot black people. People take to the streets to protest this. And when they're protesting, now you got new laws against protesting in several states. You can just deny them where it's... is it Minnesota where you get arrested at a protest and you can't go to college?
Something like that. Yeah, they don't want you. It's freedom of speech, yes, as long as they don't do it. I guess Oklahoma was the most recent one. I think they really want to run over protesters. They want.
That's a bunch of states. Yeah,
that's a bunch of states where you want to run them over. And like, well, no, you can have protests, but just not in the road. You can't have it in the road. But I guarantee you, somebody have a protest on the porch, and somebody's still going to try to run the truck over them. That's just what these laws are for.
And then you can have more. There'll be more protests after people get run over at the protest, and then they can arrest more people there. And then it just goes on and on, on and on, on and on. DC statehood, they are trying to pass a law to make DC a state. That's a weird. Those syllables together sound weird to me. DC a state.
DC a state. It's one of the things you say it real fast over and over again, don't? Yeah.
Which is a problem for a lot of people because, the founders. There's a lot of black people in Washington D.C. That's the problem. That's the problem. And so this passed in the House, is that right? So now it's going to go to the Senate so that Joe Manchin can fuck it up. Is that true? Or Kristen Sinema, maybe.
One of them too. Yeah, they're going to do something. Yeah,
maybe they'll team up together.
Founders, though, they keep saying the founders did not want D.C. to be a state. It was not meant to be a state. The founders said that many times. Also, founders, they did not want women to ever vote. And I believe a lot of them had slaves, did they not?
I saw Hamilton. Didn't they just make D.C. a state so that Southerners didn't have to drive to New York? And that what happened in the room where it happened?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, I don't blame anybody. They didn't have podcasts back in. I don't know what they would have listened to. But still, I don't know that it's the big issue that what is the big issue that we pretend it is? Ron Johnson says don't get vaccinated. You're wondering what's happening in the Senate right now. Ron Johnson says don't get.
He didn't say necessarily don't. He just saying he don't understand why everybody has to get one. What's the point?
That's what.
Why does everybody got to go get vaccinated? He don't understand and don't think that. But more or less, after he tries to figure it out, he essentially comes to the conclusion that you just said. Though, yes, why get vaccinated? What's the point? Again, math. There's another math situation. Work out numbers in your head. That's why everybody likes Dr. Fauci or don't like Dr. Fauci because the math you add it up, and at least many people died. That's why. As many people getting sick, that's why.
Fauci get mad now too. That was something. I think we thought, oh, he's real even tempered. He can't get mad. He couldn't get mad under Trump. Like now he's free, and that it means free to get mad. And people said Ron Johnson said, and Fauci, I think he said, "Fuck Ron Johnson."
I don't think he didn't say that. He is getting mad. Hell, he gets mad at the reporter asking him what he thinks about what the Republicans said. He's like, "Why you even act like it seemed like he get mad." It's funny watching him get mad at Jim Jordan. He don't like Rand Paul either, or vice versa, whatever it is. I can understand him being mad if your job is to try to save the country for coronavirus, do what the country needs or help advise on that issue. And instead of being able to do that, you have to go sit and have a bunch of questions asked of you by Jim Jordan. I'd be mad too. Probably a little bit before any of the questions came out. I'll give Jim Jordan that. Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner may run for governor of California, Jackie. Working with Brad Parscale. Republican, run as a Republican.
Well, Parscale, he worked with Trump, right?
Trump's, oh, buddy. What did he get in trouble for? Isn't he? He in jail?
It's hard
to tell who's in jail.
These Trump, or have they been in jail? If he was in jail, was he pardoned? Is he? It's difficult to talk about any of them.
If you told me he'll be running the campaign from jail, I'd be like, oh, okay. I wouldn't remember the specifics, but I'd have the gist of it in my head. Well, what was all the stuff that come out about Trump and Russia? Things come out. We said stuff. A lot of people said stuff about Trump over the past few years. Other people say, come on, it's not about that. Or the other side says, oh, Trump derangement syndrome. Everything gets confirmed. But nobody cares anymore. You've had the argument.
They knew it then. They knew it. We knew it then, and I appreciate people doing the work to prove. But I mean, I can say with my own eyes and just of course he's doing this and doing it just come out Puerto Rico. He held the money back to help. Why? I mean, pure racism. I don't know any other damn reason than that. Held the money back. $50 million, however much he needed to give them after the hurricane, and then tried to hide that after doing that. And that all comes out. I saw him down there throwing paper towels. I knew that they were hurting. He did give money. I mean, we all knew this stuff. So like you said, they've already had the argument. They already picked a side. Who cares? Now it's Joe Biden in the president. So whatever the hell, most of the, inspector generals, most of them got fired during the Trump. I mean, he just fired you. He got another one that would do what he said. So now that people are actually looking into this stuff, it's coming out pretty much how we thought it was, and nobody give a damn one way that. Well, yeah. We're we knew that back then. Thanks for catching up. And the other side never believed it then. Don't believe it now. So it's all right. I guess it's good for what you call prosperity. It goes somewhere in a museum or something oh, yeah, he did that. But I guarantee you, millions of years from now, when they look back and find out, well, hell, everybody knew that.
Caitlyn Jenner may run for governor, but states across the country continue to pass anti-gay and anti-LGBTQ legislation.
If Caitlyn Jenner running for governor would just make it, imagine Trump went out there just for a day to be with Caitlyn Jenner. Supposedly they're friends. I hear, Caitlyn Jenner loves him. He loves her. If he went out there, if that would make any damn difference, of what they're doing. Of course, what they're doing, particularly to children. It ain't when did Caitlyn Jenner transition? How old was she at the time? 60 something, whatever. So yeah, I guess that don't count. That's okay. That one's okay. But if you're a child in this country and trans, it's awful. They're torturing these children. They're just doing terrible things. They ain't fit to play sports. Hell, the last administration, you wasn't fit to be in the damn military, but I guess now you fit to run for governor. We'll see.
We're not saying Caitlyn Jenner is a good person, but we're just saying
no.
It'd be nice. Of course, they think the same thing. That's what Gutfield thinks. Like, oh, this will blow their minds. What will they do? A trans Republican, however he talks.
I ain't got nothing to do with it. The reason I would never vote for Caitlyn Jenner ain't got nothing to do with how she identifies as a human being, that politically and whatnot.
I'm not sure there's the Florida anti-trans bill maybe didn't make it through. I can't tell. I'm looking right now, folks, but I think it was pretty close. They may have defeated it. They may not made it all the way through. I don't know for sure.
Well, good. I hope so. Anyway, yeah.
Are you here for the news? We don't like it. A take. We'll give you a take. I don't have the news. But they were definitely it got pretty close. I don't know if it died, why it died. I'm just looking at it right now. I think they did pass in Florida the law that you could just run over fucking protesters. But the genital checks law, I think that's the one that may not have made it. But don't, celebrate. I'm trying to look right now, but I don't know. It's not good. Look, in Tennessee, they're just the governor says he'll sign a law that lets kids opt out. Lets parents opt their kids out. And talking about gay people in class. Like if you're going to mention a gay person in your class, you got to send a note at home to parents like 30 days in advance and just give them a heads up. And Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, folks, if you're not in Tennessee, Bill Lee is the governor of Tennessee. He said, yeah, parental choice is what this is about. So what that doesn't even make sense. They got this big Oracle company coming to Tennessee, like 8,000 jobs, 9,000 jobs to Nashville. Like, why would you bring a company to a state that's gonna make you sign a permission slip to talk about gay people, to mention anything gay, anything? He's going to sign that. The governor said he'd sign that. He said, I don't know. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm excited to get that on my desk.
America's first trans billionaire may leave Tennessee. Billions of dollars there in the state. Billions of it.
Like Stacey Abrams tried to get people to stay in Georgia, like to fight this stuff, but I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Remember the Don't Say Gay bill from like 10 years ago? They now there's this. It just doesn't ever stop. I mean, you can't talk about Pete Buttigieg. I mean, like, who can you not? There's people, the teachers, people there, kids, parents. None of it makes any sense. Like, it doesn't even make sense. You can't even do it. But it's more important to pass something that don't make sense, that you can't even do, that's unexplainable, just so people know to watch their step, or what? I don't. Is this even a warning, or is this just something? This is something they are doing to make money and to raise money and to get churches, to get the mean churches behind them, and to let all the mean people sitting on their couches watching Tucker Carlson and the worse than Tucker Carlson's to know that they're still thinking about them instead of kids in school. It's got nothing to do with kids in school, except those are the people that it hurts. Now, I want to even say that they're doing it on purpose to hurt the kids in school, but I don't even think that's the case. I think it's worse than that. They just don't even care about gay people. They don't enter their minds. The parents, the kids, and their education, none of that enters their minds. They're just trying to raise money from the meanest people that give them money. Just let them know they can't do nothing else. They don't have an agenda for anything. It's obviously not business, because businesses ain't gonna come to these states that are passing these anti-gay laws. I looked on Oracle's Twitter, and it's that we're one of the top diverse. This was recent. They posted this. Like, we were voted one of the most diverse, best for diversity companies. Like, why would you bring that company to Tennessee? I mean, there's a Tennessean article today that they may not, nothing's set in stone yet. So why would you rock the boat? And Bill Lee, if they don't come, they don't give a shit about the jobs anymore. Then they can say, oh, cancel culture. They can get money from the mean people for that. They don't care about jobs. They don't care about making money for the state or helping anybody in the state. They don't care about the hurt they cause to gay kids. They just want to, line their pockets and keep their careers going. That's the only way. They have to program to the meanest people in the world.
How can you care about people if how many districts have lost a local hospital in the state of Tennessee because they won't take Medicare? Just out of meanness. I ain't taking that. They don't give a damn. Now, some of these people are that ignorant. I'm from Tennessee. I have a right to say this. Some of these politicians that were saying, go look at Tennessee Holler if you want to see what's the terrible things that are going. They do a pretty good job of covering all this. Some of these individuals are that ignorant. They are that ignorant, think they're doing the right thing or what, the right horrible damn thing that they're doing. But a lot of them are just like what you just said. They just don't care one way or another. I need to put money in my coffers. I need to get them elected. I need to stay in power. I need to keep this job. That's it. The easiest way for me to do it, you see, it'd be hard. It's difficult to come up with ideas and, like you said, agenda, something that could help the state, something that could move us forward, however, financially, whatever, which way. No. The only thing I need to move forward is me sitting my butt down, not having to really do a job, except, my job is to irritate a bunch of bigots. I can do that. Do that with my eyes closed, 2 hands behind my back. I can irritate. I can get a bunch of bigots irritated and get them to send me some money.
Isn't it funny that they don't? You watch Fox News and they're talking. They bring up these people are the worst. Are there even trolls on the left anymore? Because everybody that's irritating the bigots are the Republicans now. They find something, they turn it into an irritating story. They're trolling themselves. They're self-trolls. That's how they make money. What a terrible world. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey signs anti-transports bill into law. So there's that. Just in case you're wondering how Alabama's doing, but
yeah, a lot of people are concerned about Alabama. I'm concerned about our people. They're gay people that live in Alabama. Damn it, they are. We all know it. There's trans children that live in Alabama. There's trans children that live in every damn one of these states. I guess if it weren't, they wouldn't be able to raise a bunch of money off of torturing them.
You remember Walter Mondale?
Yeah, he died. Yeah.
Yeah, he ran for president.
I forgot. I knew he was a vice president for Carter, which that situation on itself, however you want to look at that, probably wasn't pleasant at the time, regardless of what good things or bad thing happened. But then after that, he had to run against Ronald Reagan. They just insult to injury, isn't it? Sort of.
I don't think I've read a lot. I read a lot of stuff about him this week after he died. A lot of interesting stuff I didn't know, and I think the writing was on the wall because his nickname's Fritz. I mean, do you think somebody nicknamed Fritz is ever going to? How high can they climb in this country?
I mean, he got pretty far with it. I think that's about that. If you got Fritz in your name, vice president is about. That's most of you won't get that far. So good on him for just that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talk about overcoming. He did pretty good, and he also. We talked about those president doctors. I think there must be something to it because a lot of presidents live pretty old. He was 90 something. Now we also know that what's his name, Ronnie Jackson, is that his name? The president, doctor who was like in the White House under Trump and Obama. Yeah. So obviously, they ain't all cream of the crop.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm still trying to find out about the Florida bill, but I can't. I don't know. There's something about time as that happens. Like on Twitter, you look, what's new? And you look in the news, and now I can't. It seemed to be stalled a few days ago, and then now newer stuff seems to be that it passed. So I ain't sure.
It's hard to keep up with one day's of news in this world. I don't know how you do it.
We're a news podcast,
huh?
We're a podcast about the news. I think we should know how to do it.
Well, somebody should help us then or something because I can't.
Yeah, that's true. We do need some help. Or somebody.
I don't know who. Yeah.
Just or maybe we just we're not sure about this. It's sort of become like a Fox News, just kind of make stuff up to irritate people but in a good way.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Hopefully in a positive way. Yeah.
Look, things ain't here. Like things, what's happening in Florida? It's not good. It's been touch and go for a while over whether ultimate evil will win the battle against middle of the road evil. It looks like for a second there might have been some light shining through, but unclear as to whether. Darkness once again descends over the state of Florida, and the meanest people claim victory once again. And that's the news portion of the Red State Update podcast. Red State Update podcast. Thank you. What did Max Headroom say when he signed off?
Oh, he'd say tomorrow and another day or something. What did it say? The infinities or something. I don't
know. Beyond. He said like that, sexy kind of.
What did he say?
Remember how sexy he was?
No, it wasn't. It was a cartoon computer thing.
Infinity and beyond.
No, it ain't nothing sexy about that. Hey, still Jackie Bros on here talking, still on.
Folks, Dunlap 2 here talking at you, still talking at you.
Still talking at you after all these years.
You figured at some point we'd stop.
I wish that the world would get to a place where there were nothing worth talking about, don't you?
Like, you just wake up and it's just like, everything's pretty good.
I guess, yeah. Or just uninteresting, neither good nor bad, just kind of regular, because sometimes things can get too good. You know what I mean? People get too worked up over that, too excited, like, that thing's so great. I just have things kind of regular,
Have a heart attack.
You could, yeah. Some people do.
A lot of people do. It's
like number
people
2.
Get sick all the time.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people. It was number 2 to COVID. I think COVID's the only thing took over heart attacks. Yeah. You gonna go see a doctor now? I think both of us got number 1 and 2 in us at this point, but you still I gotta wait another week or so before they say you're good to do. Well, you're not really good to do anything. I guess you're just better off than you were beforehand. I have no idea what's going to happen, because now they're saying, oh, we're at a point now, we got too much vaccine and people don't want to get it. And I'm like, well, what do you do then if enough people don't get it? Does that start it up bad? Does it have, I don't know. I don't know first thing. Talk to Dr. Fauci about that. I hope he talks on one of these somewhere.
But tread lightly, because he's not in the mood.
Well, he'd get mad at you for asking him. Like because that's what I know. I say, if this percentage of people don't get vaccinated, what happens? Dr. Fauci, he'd be like, that's just, they don't do it, the hell there, you and everybody else.
Let's just throw it all in the garbage. It doesn't matter then, I guess. Is that what you're saying, right? Who cares? All right, sure. Okay, we did all this for nothing. Fine. Hell with you. Hell with all of them.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised or upset in the least if that's what he was saying. I think he should probably get on there and say it every time. The Biden administration might not have known what they were getting into when they told him, you can say whatever you want, wherever you want to, anytime.
People think it's them dogs that's been biting people and shitting on the floor. It's Fauci. He don't give a fuck anymore.
Hey, watch your mouth, though. Yeah.
Hell with you. Hell with all of them. I imagine like working hard to do everything you can, and then just the dumbest people keep throwing wrenches into it. Just the worst people. I think we got a good shot at this. If we do, if everybody just, hey, what about my freedom is the one thing that you left out. My freedom?
My freedom to be a butthead, a butthole.
Where's the part about drinking bleach? You didn't mention that either. I don't understand.
Like you and me, sometimes you can just look at a picture of them and get like irritated, like a Jim Jordan or a Louis Gorman. What's another one of them? Holly. You just look at a picture of a face and like, And then other times you can read actually what they said, and it's like, yeah. And then sometimes you actually see on the TV like them talk like, imagine them doing all that right to you. Real life, not a picture. Saying the worst stuff imaginable. And to you, your face, right then at that minute. We're lucky Dr. Fauci ain't, all these mass shootings, that's one, we're lucky we ain't had yet.
I tell you what, I've lost so much time. I say something on a computer where somebody says something stupid. I don't know, Gohmert or Ron Johnson or any of them. Who was the one talking to Stacey Abrams this week? He was like, I get it. Kennedy?
Kennedy, yeah. He's like, enough, all right. Yeah.
You asked,
you old ignorant. Yeah.
You asked. He tried to trick her, and then she tricked you. And you're like, okay, enough. You did it. I've lost so much time when I say something like that, where I go into an imagine, where I'm saying the words out loud. I'm sitting here in front of a computer or on a phone in a fast food parking lot, and I go into Senator, how dare you, as if I'm the person they're talking to. At some point, maybe it starts off like I'm Stacey Abrams, which is fun fantasy you should try sometimes, or like or I'm the person that's been pushed up against, that this person's trying to score a point off of. You said, the headlines like this person really gave it back to Senator Dumbass or whatever. And then you just go, a senator. And for like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, I'm yelling at this dumbass senator, like, had you in America, this land of hopes and dreams, that these hallowed halls that were under attack mere weeks ago, you have the audacity to stand before us. I bring in Jesus, the flag. Maybe I pick up a letter opener and swing it around. Maybe I'm standing on top of a table. Maybe I'm banging my shoe, Khrushchev style. Maybe I'm flipping chairs around. Anything could happen in this. And it goes on. And finally, I snap out of it. I'm like, it's dark now. For 5 hours, I've been yelling at a senator in my imagination, and no one could reach me. And it's embarrassing. And thank God I'm wearing this mask, because people have been walking by and could have seen me talking to myself, but they did see me gesture and shake my fist, flip the bird. So yeah, whoever's designed social media to highlight the worst parts of our government each day, and they segment that out to us to you profit from our outrage, are doing a great job, because I go to town on it.
And you got to realize that they have a lot to choose from. They have a lot. I mean, which granted, a lot of it they just keep shoveling out every 5 minutes. But still, imagine if you have access to everything Jim Jordan said all day today, and you're the one that's going to decide which parts to put out there.
That's worse than him talking to you to your face.
Yep.
Is having to go through everything he said. I don't know which is a worse job, be talked to by him or have to look at everything he said.
Did you know this? How long? I forget. It's been a while. He's been in office for a while. Did you know not one single bill that he has brought, not one thing, he hadn't brought anything that's been passed, like nothing. He's there to just irritate people. That's it. That's his job.
Is that not the Republican Party right now?
Pretty much, yeah. I think. I mean, a few of them got to hear this or that, but he ain't got a thing. He ain't got one thing that's ever been brought to. Yeah, nothing.
Look, we've been talking about this whole time. They ain't doing nothing. They're just trying to make people mad. Fox News is making shit up to make people mad. Now, the whole country's running on being mad. I like to think that on the side that's against Trump and his buddies, that we have real issues that are making us mad. So Facebook can serve us up terrible cop shootings all day, a new one every day. They can give us the worst racist tirades on a bus. How many of those you get a day? 2, 3, 7, 10? That's just what we're seeing. Like, they don't have to do a lot of work to go through racist senators or racist attacks or cops shoot or terrible murders to feed our outrage. Now, we have to figure out how much of that outrage is productive, how much of that is causing us to not say, oh, good, they sent him to jail. And then we just go back to, whatever, work, sleep, eating a sandwich, doing a podcast. How much of that actually spurs us to action so that we see, all right, they shot like 7 more people this week also.
We're old too. I mean, I'm older than you, but since all this horrible, I mean, it's you get to a point, I ain't doing nothing. What can I do other than vote or give my money to this particular charity or try to help? What the hell am I supposed to do? I'm tired of it being this way. I don't know how I stop people from, well, I know one way to stop people from taking, weapons of war into public places and shooting everybody in there is like making that just a little more difficult to get access to. That's the only thing I can think of.
Speaking of dumb laws they passed, was that Montana that passed a law that said that a bunch of states want to do this? It's like a gun sanctuary laws. I think Montana passed one like, oh, you can't, if the federal government says, oh, messes with our guns at all, they can't. It's illegal in Montana for the federal government.
For the federal government to do anything. Oh, yeah.
That's the other. So when something terrible happens, George Floyd murdered, everyone sees it. Everyone's outraged. I mean, decent people. Then Fox News can use our outrage to feed outrage, like manufactured outrage. So they take, oh, well, they're mad about this, but you should be mad because they're trying to tell you to put all the cops in jail. And they don't need a reason for it other than we're mad about this. So because of the way things are, if we're mad about something, you should be in favor of it. You should actually be mad about this. I don't know how you win at this man.
There ain't no winning. Like anyone that can look at a video of George Floyd, you sit there, watch a man murder a man. Man pleads for his life, asks for help, says he can't breathe, does it over and over again. The other man just keeps blocking his airway where he can't breathe. That's it. I think when it come out, majority, there were even Republicans at the time that said, well, this is just, I think even the damn president, if you remember, what was that idiot's name who was president at the time? I can't think, but he came out.
Was it Fritz?
Fritz something like that, yeah. But even he come out and said, it looks terrible what's going on there. It's just terrible. And we've gone from that to this man going to jail, which it turns out now that the Department of Justice are looking into this man, that he's done this. Fortunately, didn't kill people, but still terrorize people doing methods like this of young, believe it or not, black men. More of this evidence is going to come out with them investigating this gentleman, which, of course, they weren't allowed to bring that up in court. But, of course, you could bring up everything George Floyd ever did in his life, from smoking a joint to passing a $20, whatever the hell it is. But anyhow,
people really want, there's a lot of people in this country, FYI, you don't need us to tell you this, that really want black people to be shot, and they look for any excuse for it. So anything that comes up, like, oh, well, there you go.
But I think there's even people who don't want that, who are Republicans, believe it or not. A few of them left anyway, that saw the George Floyd tape and said, no, this is wrong, is wrong, is wrong. And then as the process goes, guess what? At the tail end of it, he goes to jail. Tucker Carlson, all your favorite shows or whatever you're looking at are going to tell you you can't have it both ways. You got to be on this side or that side. That's it. Now, some people may say the liberal point of view is like that, but I mean, I just don't kill people. When you don't have to kill them, you shouldn't kill them no how. Just don't kill people. Your job is supposed to be protecting people, help people. Yes, I know there's bad people out there, but if they ain't got a gun on them, don't kill them. They're running away. You know where they live. Go pick them up next week. Just don't kill them. We can get into all the legal ramifications. Well, just don't kill people. But now they're going to put you on the precipice right there. No, if you're a Republican, if you're conservative, you gotta be with us. I know it looked bad. I know that video looked awful, but if they put Chauvin away, it's the same with guns. If they do that, if they take those guns off the market, guess what? They're coming for your little pea shooter tomorrow. It's all the way or nothing. All the way or nothing. That's it. Pick a side. You on one or the other. Ain't no middle ground. That's bad on both sides probably in this country. But right now, one side seems a hell of a lot more racist than the other. In my lifetime, and I had enough of it. We ain't even supposed to be speaking about the ills of the world on this part of it, are we?
No. This is usually where we talk about, we try to segue over to our local sponsors here.
I don't even know how to do that nowadays. Yeah, I don't know. If you like hearing us talk about how awful things are in the world and want to hear more of it, even though we try not to talk about it on this little extra part, this extra 20 minutes, we try to stay far away from it, just try to talk about, the few good things in life that we remember from years ago or that we're looking forward to or whatnot. Well, you're in luck if you want to hear that 20 minutes of that, because if you go to our, what is it called, Patreon page.
That's it.
If you go over there, you give us $1 if you just like hearing us scream and holler about the stuff we do on here. That's fine. $1. We appreciate it. We thank you kindly. We can't thank you enough for it. But some people want to give us $5 or more, and if you give us $5 more, then you're going to get this extra 20 minutes. This probably ain't going to be us as angry or mad or, focusing on the terrible things of the world. Now, some of you out there say, I don't want to hear y'all have a good time and make jokes and crack wise. I want to hear you mad as hell. Oh, no. Well, this ain't for you. Then that's fine. Don't give us $5. But if you want to hear us talk about, old TV show, old obscure comedian from the 70s, country album, that's the place you want to go. And sadly, I'm sorry to say, it does cost you $5. But that $5 that so many of you give us, and God bless your hearts for all of it. I hope you all doing good. I hope you all got vaccinated. I hope you all making good choices in life and using common sense and trying to avoid most of the crazy stuff that we talk about on here, if you're able to. As much as it helps us that each and every one of y'all tune in, listen to us, and give us a hand here and there, go to our Patreon page, all that stuff. It just ain't enough. We always need that little extra bit of help, and that's why we have local sponsors. That's right, local Murfreesboro sponsors from right here, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They give us $25, and we're going to make them our sponsor. We're going to tell you about them. If you ain't from Tennessee and you happen to be traveling through right now, still a little too early to be traveling. Thank goodness people are getting vaccinated. Thank goodness things are going at least a little bit better in some places. But still, now's not the time to travel. But when it is time to travel, and good Lord, I'm looking forward. Well, I ain't. I'm old. I don't like going nowhere anymore. If I was younger, sure, yeah. But now there ain't no place I need to see. Might as well stay here anyway. It ain't really affected me a whole lot, but still, if you on the road heading down to Florida, go to Disneyland, ain't been there forever, you got to come through Tennessee. Tell you what, you're going to hear about some good places to eat on here. You're going to hear about some good deals. You're going to hear about all sorts of things from local Murfreesboro sponsors. Right, Dunlap?
Yeah, that's right.
The sponsors, right? Everything I understand about the local sponsor, Murfreesboro sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Well, that's all true, I'm sure.
Well, we got technical issues. Sometimes I can't hear him. Sometimes he can't hear me. And maybe we should probably try to figure out how to rectify that before we ask y'all to pay us for it. But anyhow, we're working the best we can here. I got a good sponsor this week. I think you're going to like them a lot. That's what you always say, remember?
I don't know about that. That's what you always say.
Yeah, I do, because usually yours are awful or filthy or something terrible. And I
you say,
yeah.
I would have liked it without the language.
Yeah, that's true, because you just cuss all the way through it. It's just stuff I don't like to hear with my ears. But this one you may like. I don't know whether you're going to like or not. Dunlap, when's the last time you cleaned the dishes? The wrong person to ask, but when's the last time you washed your dishes?
Well, let me tell you, Jackie, with the pandemic going on and with staying at home and just dealing with all the issues in America, I've been trying not to be too hard on myself. I'll admit I've let things slide a little bit in the housekeeping department, the personal cleanliness department, and I'm thinking more along the lines these days of what makes me happy right now. But cleanliness is next to happiness, what they say. And I'll say, okay, well, if I had to give you a number, I mean, when did everything shut down? Like last March or so?
It was a year ago. Never mind.
Okay. I said about 7 years.
All right. Shouldn't I ask you to begin with? Never mind. Everybody else who tries to be clean, and kill germs, especially in the times of coronavirus. You going?
I thought it was a case of let them all in, let all the germs in, let them fight for who's the strongest, and that's the one that'll take me out.
No, talking to regular people, normal people who are concerned about their well-being and want to have a nice house and clean the kitchen up so there ain't germs and a mess and just a hassle to deal with later. So if you're washing your dishes and you're cleaning the dishes, Lord knows you're using a sponge, or you should be anyway. Sponge is the best way to wash dishes. Get you a good sponge. I always get them like a 4 or 5 pack when I go to Kroger or wherever, try to find the best deal. But sponge is a sponge. Some work better than others. I ain't going to get into brand names because that's what this ain't about that. That ain't a sponsor. But anyhow, everybody's had a sponge, and it's some sponges seem to work better than others, and you use that sponge, wash the dishes over and over again. Long time passes, you're still using that sponge, and we all know it. It always happens. The sponge gonna get to a point where the color's a little bit off. It ain't bright yellow like it was when you got it. It's got a little dark places. The smell of it ain't right. This sponge about had it, right? That it happens to all of us, especially if you're using your sponge to clean as often as you should be. You're going to find yourself in this situation. Well, most of the time, you're going to take that sponge, toss it right in the garbage. That's right where it'll go. This sponge is done. I'm done. Well, no more. Listen, don't deprive yourself of, again, a situation that we all get in. Don't deprive yourself of this special deal going on right now at Rosemary Nibbles' Old Sponge Room. That's right. Rosemary Nibbles' Old Sponge Room. You won't take them old sponges down there. However many you got. Probably just got one because I don't let them pile up. If I went through every sponge and set it aside, I'm going to wind up with a bunch of old sponges I'm going to throw in the trash. Usually just throw one in the trash and then go through the next and on and on. But anyhow, let's just start with that one. Let's take that one sponge that it's got that little weird smell to it that ain't scrubbing off a grime as well as it should. It's time to let that sponge go. Not in the garbage, no, sir. You're going to let it go down at Rosemary Nibbles' Old Sponge Room. That's right. You're going to get your sponge deposit for that. You're going to hand Rosemary Nibbles that sponge right there of yours. It ain't no good. Going to hand it to her, and I tell you what, she's going to turn around and give back 2 sponges half as good as that one. Well, that's going to get you by a little bit longer, ain't it? So there's one old sponge gone, and now suddenly you got 2 sponges. Well, that's going to take you a while. There you go, hold back home, clean on, keep washing, keep cleaning. Keep doing what you're supposed to do. Get all them dishes good and clean. Use them sponges up till they ain't hardly worth nothing now. Now, these 2 sponges, they were half and now they're gone. Well, what am I going to do with them now? Well, I'm going to take them right back down to Rosemary Nibbles' Old Sponge Room, take them to the sponge deposit, and I tell you what, I'm going to get twice as many back that are half as good. That's right, twice as many. Second time around, now I got 4 sponges that going to last me how much longer? Sure, you can go down to Kroger, Target, wherever. Walgreens get you a bunch of sponges. All right. Yeah, they're all nice and new, and they'll last you a good time. But imagine how much longer they're going to last you if you take each and every one of them right back down to Rosemary Nibbles' Old Sponge Room sponge deposit. That's right. First 2 you take back, you're going to get, first 1 you take back, you're going to get 2 back half as good. Then you take those 2 back, you're going to get twice as many half as good. That's right. 4 the deposit ends at 8 sponges. So after that, then you probably am going to have to throw them away. But think about how many more sponges you would have had to buy brand new than to take those old sponges down to Rosemary Nibbles sponge deposit. Yeah, at the old sponge room. Take them down there. You'll clean up twice as much for half the price, or maybe not half. I don't know how it all works out, mathematically precisely. But to me, it sounds like you go for one sponge, you're going to wind up with 8. And to me, that's a deal.
Well, they all smell like mildew.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's all just a bunch of old sponges.
No, the first one is
old.
When it starts to smell, and you're going to take it back, you're going to get 2 that are,
Well, they're all old too.
Half as old as that one. Half as good, I should say. I don't know about old technically, and again, dates, times. But no, you take that one back, you're going to get 2 half as good. So those 2 are going to add up to another one of those. It's going to at least to get you that much further down the road.
But she's selling the ones you bring back. Is that what's in the old sponge room? It's just a bunch of old mildew sponges?
I don't know how. It can't be the same because she's going to give you back 2 that are half as good as that one, which add up to that one. So they can't be, okay. So she takes those, the one you bringing in, she throws those over to the side, and then the next person brings one and she give those 2 to, okay, you try it,
Wait, is this just like a sponge pyramid scheme then?
No, it ain't a pyramid. Look, like you got a sponge, it's had it, it's done. I take it down there, she's going to give me 2 back to replace that one, which 2 of those add up to at least, well, it said here half as good.
But they're half as good.
Half as good as that one.
Does that mean they're twice as old?
The same, but you get
twice as mildew?
No, they're the same, but you have 2 of them. And when you wear them out, which would have it stops at 8, though. You take 2 back, get 4 back, and then after 8, that's when a sponge ain't, at that point, it ain't, it just ain't going to work at all, I guess. But still, look how
but if you've got 8 sponges 8 times worse than the first sponge that you come in there with, are you negative sponges at that point?
Look. Take 1 down, get 2 back, half as good as that one. Use those 2, which are going to last at least as long as the one I just took back, probably.
But they're half as good.
Half as good, but add it up. All right, the same, but still, I hadn't had to go buy a new sponge yet. Here's the point: 2, go through that. Take those 2 back down, get 4. So those 4 that are half as good, they're going to, each one of those going to add up to it. What is that? 2, then you take back, then you got 8, and those are going to last. Either way, you're saving money. You're at least saving to buy a whole new package of sponges. I think at least 1 or 2 packages, I think.
What if you have a dishwasher?
Well, you can still use sponge, basin, room. You don't have to use it just on the dish. People use sponges for all sorts of stuff. You know that.
So let me just see if I got this straight. You use a sponge till it's full of grime and mildew and mold. Black mold, you squeeze it out. Liquid black mold runs out. You take it down to, what's her name?
Nobody said anything about black
Rosemary?
mold, first off. Nobody said anything about black mold. That's...
Yeah, because it's the silent killer. So you go down there to Rosemary Nibbles' old sponge room and you say, I got this filthy-ass, ruinous sponge. And she says, I can sell that to somebody. For bringing that in, you pick out 2 sponges half as good.
It ain't selling, it's trading. trade. You don't. There may be tax. I don't know, but no. I'm taking one down. I'm walking out with two. Didn't no money exchange hands.
Okay, think of it like this, Jack, and I'll tell you why this is terrible.
Why?
You go in there with in your hand a piece of shit, and you say, "I have a piece of shit," and she says, "Oh, I'll take that and give you two bigger pieces of shit."
No.
Now, then you come back in with those two pieces of shit, and she gives you four pieces of shit.
It's a half a
and
piece.
And then somehow
you take one whole one down there. If you want to call it that way, we'll call it that way. One whole piece, you said, and then she gives you back two half a pieces of, which adds up to that one you just give her.
What it sounds to me like is she's tricking you and a bunch of people into taking a bunch of garbage. What I figure out is, here's what I think is the scam. Right. Somebody comes by every month, old sponge man, and she takes all the best sponges that people bring her, and she makes, I don't know, got to be $20, $30.
How?
And then
how she make it? She trades.
She gets it, and instead of throwing away, because she's selling to the man who knows quality sponges. She takes the best sponges. You are helping her carry off her garbage sponges. You think you come away with something good, but basically you got 8 pieces of shit instead of the one moldy old sponge, which she sold to the sponge.
How much have you saved working all the way up to 8?
Nothing.
We mean nothing. You go buy 5 sponge things or 4. I think they come in 4-pack.
$3.
Maybe 2, but still, you don't have to saving you a trip from Kroger.
Okay, I'll grant you, I can't see how she's making any money off of this, or how this is something any sane person would want to do. So maybe what this is just a bored person who has tricked a lot of people into coming into her mildew storefront, breathing in a bunch of fumes,
all right,
and touching a bunch of filth, and thinking something's going on. And probably at night, she just goes home and she gets off on it. She's like, I trick this whole town every day. And they're thinking they're getting a deal. And all it is
do your
touching
sponsor.
Filth.
I'm done with mine. You're your sponsor. That's through. I'm done. My sponsor, if you got a bunch of sponges, if you use sponges all the time, which you should to be sanitary, and don't want to
not them filthy old sponges. Don't rub them mildew factories across my plate. I ain't coming over there. I know you can't wait for us to get vaccinated so I can come over. You can feed me one of your famous old home cooked meals. Oh, get Dunlap. I can't wait to watch him shovel this in his mouth. I tell you what, I ain't going to touch nothing you give me on a plate. Now that I know all you do is rub mildew on it every night. You got a closet full of 8 times 100 sponges probably. It's just breeding mildew in there. It's mildew,
you ain't
mildew.
You ain't gonna get nothing to eat. You ain't coming to I ain't feeding you nothing. It's gonna be like that, because I sure as hell know you don't get up and wash your damn dishes. What do you care if I rub my dishes with? Whether it's a new sponge or old sponge. You ain't doing it. You don't give a damn. You ain't coming over for nothing. You don't appreciate nothing. The hell with that.
Yeah, I probably dodged a bullet with this pandemic, not being over eating off of it.
Sure, yeah, whatever, yeah.
Filth.
That's Rosemary Nibble's old sponge room.
That's
Come on
Rosemary
down.
Nibble's old sponge.
I said it. That's my sponsor. You do yours now.
Jackie, I got a sponsor this week that I think you're really gonna like.
Yeah, okay.
The Silver Stugger wants me to tell everybody, beware, cometh the corneth, whosoever doeth the cornbread man walketh amongst whoever it be us, true believer. He's been in the hole. Stug has not heralding. He's just licking rocks and not heralding. And the cornbread man, it's like, you got to do a little heralding. And so He brought me in. He said, I'll give you $25 worth of these licking rocks if you a little heralding for me. So I'm just letting everybody know Cornbread Man allegedly is cometh. He's high. It could be hallucinations and manufactured of a sick brain.
All right.
But who knows? We also could be in great danger. And it's not I'm not here to give you a take on my heralding. I'm here to herald. It's about the heralding, not a take on heralding. So watch out. Beware. Cometh the corneth. Cornbread Man will not fire. I will say about Cornbread Man, allegedly, the giant Cornbread Man who's come from an alternate Earth from the system of sinkholes beneath Murfreesboro that connect to Gentleman Jim's 2, which is the sinkhole created by the moonshine bucket. That's where Stug Roomba-Tussin, our old friend who we've been talking about for several weeks on here, has been hiding out licking rocks. He's Cornbread Man. He's the herald Cornbread Man. He's supposed to be warning us of the impending danger and the destruction that the Cornbread Man will rain down upon us as he consumes our cornsmick lifergy whole force.
What?
But he doesn't want to fire the silver Stugger because he knows that Stug's just been hiding in the hole. But it's like, it's not cool to fire somebody. It's a pandemic. And actually, he gave him a bonus, and he said that Stug's an essential worker. And he gave him 6 months hero pay. Cornbread Man, a better boss than Kroger. So, Jackie, you remember Cornbread Man, right? The giant.
I heard of
50,
him. I ain't
60,
seen it yet.
yeah.
Roomba-Tussin, he needs help. Stug, somebody need to go help him. It's just one of them snowball situation gets worse and worse.
Well, people at Jim's 2 know he's down in the sinkhole. They'll throw him sandwiches or ashtrays. I guess they're throwing things at him, not sandwiches, mostly ashtrays. I guess they throw ashtrays at him. That's not really help. He does need help. Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I was thinking that qualified as some sort of aid, but it doesn't. It's just harassment. Cornbread Man has been checking out Earth's attractions before he consumes our cornsmick lifergy whole force. He wants to kind of see the sights. He's been ambling around. Allegedly, I haven't seen him. This could all be a figment of Stug's drug rock-addled imagination. I'm not going to go into the story of Stug Roomba-Tussin. I know last week I talked about I need to go through this whole thing every time. I think I'm going to say that most people listening to this, I know it's somebody's first time I listen to this podcast every time we do one of these. God, I hope it ain't this one. But if this one is yours, just drop us a line. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Patreon. You can let us know, and I'm happy to fill you in. Let's just say,
Gotchas.
It's been quite a ride. So Cornbread Man's been walking around checking out the attractions. I'm surprised you ain't seen him. He's been here in Murfreesboro, Jackie.
I ain't seen no giant Cornbread Man, no.
He went to where Shelley, Stug's wife, they're estranged right now, but where Shelley's been feeding cornbread to all the animals. That's a big attraction. I mean, it's so big that Tennessee Wildlife and Game Life had to shut it down. And Cornbread Man was very disappointed by that. All these animals have been coming around. Shelley started taking over the cornbread bacon because she was going to build the giant Cornbread Man. Stug was building a Cornbread Man. Look, I'm not going to go into the story, but let's just say Shelley took over the cornbread bacon. And once she was no longer building a Cornbread Man on this earth, she just started feeding the cornbread to animals, and animals love it. And she started doing TikTok. Very popular because people on TikTok love to see animals eat cornbread. They love to see them make the little pat their tummies and do the little yummy They do like cartoons. It's hilarious. They also listen to Shelley's commands, which is a little creepy. And so many animals from all over the world have been showing up. I don't know where they're coming from. Like kangaroos. How's a kangaroo get here? On a boat, apparently. Because there's video of people on a boat, like the famous Australia to Murfreesboro boat route. They're like, look at this. What's this kangaroo doing? And the kangaroo hops off over there, eats some cornbread. I don't know how animals communicate with each other. But somehow somebody got that kangaroo a message, and that message was there's delicious cornbread in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And there were so many animals there. And Tennessee Wildlife saw TikTok, saw Shelley feed some cornbread to a mongoose. They were like, this is not cool. Where'd that mongoose come from? Shut it down. So they won't let her make cornbread anymore. They put up barriers all around a big wall around Murfreesboro. Now animals can't get through. Now Shelley's just in her home surrounded by hungry animals wanting cornbread. Tennessee Wildlife Fish Cop said they don't know where all these animals come from. They come from all over the world. They're still showing up. Here's what I think. I think there's alternate Earth animals. Like I went by there and there was a deer that was waiting on cornbread that I liked its shape. Thought it was funny. And the deer come over to me like, do you have cornbread? And I'm like, because I've been told off and I smell like cornbread. You've told me that before. You said it made you kind of put you off cornbread for a little while.
Well, you smell it all the time. That's years ago, yeah.
So I nicknamed Miss Deer Zaxby's, and when Tennessee Wild Animal Fish Police come and took him and relocated him, set up roadblocks around the city to keep all the other animals from showing up, I said, oh, man, I miss Zaxby the deer. And then I went over there the day, and there was a Zaxby the deer. And I'm like, could this be the same Zaxby? But I think he had a tail. And it looked just a little different. Just like one little part. I was like, see, that ain't the same tail. I couldn't get a good look at it because every time I go back there, Zaxby like freaks out. But I know enough the way I could try to get a picture with my phone and stuff. But he still didn't like it. Also, not as friendly to me as the other Zaxby. I'm pretty sure this is like a Zaxby the deer from another Earth, like an Earth 3 Zaxby.
All right.
That's why he'd be mean. It's what I think. I can't prove it. So Shelley's seen the cornbread man allegedly, unless this is, maybe somehow some of these, I give her a licking rock every once in a while just to help her unwind because she's doing so much cooking and those animals are putting pressure on her now that she can't cook and she doesn't know what to do with her time and the animals are just there staring at her. Can you imagine if you're sitting around in your house and in the windows, all the animals just staring at you like, where's my cornbread? And you're Shelley, and all you've been doing for the past few weeks is making cornbread, and the Tennessee Wild Game cops are there like, you can't make no cornbread, and where are these animals coming from? It's just tense. It helps her get to sleep. So I've been giving her a licking rock. So what I heard was Shelley's seen the cornbread man, 50, 60 feet tall, and she commanded the animals, as we always say, when it's a little ominous when someone gets a little bit of power, a little bit of TikTok fame, or the ability to control animals. And she just commanded the animals to eat their way into that cornbread man and wear him like a suit. So what I don't understand is all these animals from around, like a Noah's Ark of animals. I mean, a lot of Tennessee animals, possums, raccoons, deer, squirrels, rabbits, but then things from all over the world. And they're in there wearing this gigantic, what I don't understand is when they ate their way in, did they eat his cornbread brain and his cornbread organs?
What?
Or was he just like a big loaf walking around?
Oh.
Like if you started digging in there, would it just be cornbread, or would it be like a cornbread heart beating? I asked the scientist Doug that made him on his Earth, but he's in the sinkhole under the sway of the Licking Rocks too. I mean, we're trying to get to the very nature of existence, I guess, and I don't think it's something you can do. It's either something that Licking Rocks you can only do under the influence of Licking Rocks, or maybe Licking Rocks really just fuck you up too bad. I'm not sure.
What is your sponsor? What is your sponsor?
The animals are now basically Cornbread Man, and Shelley controls the animals, and Stug, being the herald of the Cornbread Man, now basically works for Shelley. So he's still in the sinkhole Licking Rocks, but he asked me to help him herald. Shelley's been on his back, and the message we want to get out from the Cornbread Man right now, and the whole Cornbread Man family, Shelley, Stug, Stug scientist, all the animals, is Tennessee wild fish and game fish, you're going to get ass whooping.
What?
We tore down all the barriers, so we're going to have like Madagascar animals soon, Serengeti animals, like them Japanese, just a lot of different kinds of deer, varieties of deer, monkeys. Look out. When monkeys get Cornbread Man, watch out. Oh, and she's taking her TikTok SpawnCon money from Martha White. She's going to start her own corn farm attended by the animals. And guess what she just bought? Tracto Field Eliminator 2000, Bluetooth, better warranty, all of it.
What is it?
But the Tracto Field Eliminator 2000 with the Bluetooth, the whole thing.
Why?
But Stug, she's not going to let Stug drive it. Only her favorite raccoons.
I don't.
So sponsor is, watch out if you are a game warden in Tennessee, because they're going to squash your vehicles.
Look, I know if there's a bunch of hungry animals outside of a house, and they tell you you can't give them cornbread no more, I know it's a step down for the animal. Animals eat hay. Go get a hay bale. They'll eat it. They ain't going to go hungry. Sure, they'd rather have cornbread, but animals eat hay.